97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio, always.
Hello, it's another week of controversial issues, and Politicos on Citi TV will do justice to them. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. So this week, Korley constituency is still in the news. They are refusing to go. The MPP has elected a candidate, but the lawyer for one of the candidates is complaining about life threats on him. Also, in the NDC side, we are hearing now, according to the Electoral Commission, the NDC candidate doesn't have a voter's ID card. Does it even matter? We'll find out. Also this week, we've been doing a tracking of the State of the Nation address as delivered by the President. Our focus has been on Hohwe roads. Are the roads in existence? Have they been constructed or not? We'll find out. Okay, so in the Korley constituency first, the NPP went to primaries. It elected Korley to be its parliamentary candidate. Philip Addison, the losing candidate, went to court. He secured a court ruling that says, let's go back and have the votes. So they went back. And what happened? Korley has lost resoundingly to Philip Addison. That's an interesting turn of events. But more interesting is that the lawyer for Korley, Gary Nimakun, is now saying his life is being threatened. What is happening in the courts? Let's bring in Fred Jabano, who is a man who's been watching proceedings. So, was it a shock to journalists who were covering the story for Gary to come in and say his life is being threatened?
I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't describe it as a shock.
But what was supposed to happen in court on that day? Was that part of the plan for the court that they should expect a complaint from a lawyer?
No, it wasn't part of the plan to expect a complaint for a lawyer.
Okay.
What was supposed to be happening was that the case between Zanato Rollins and Myanmar Shite was supposed to take place. There was an injunction application expected to be moved by lawyers for Myanmar Shite, which is led by Gary Nimakon. But
and Myanmar Shite is NDC.
Yes.
So just to set the record straight, so Gary Nimakun is lawyer both for the NDC incumbent NDC MP, that's Myanmar Shite, who lost to Dr. Zanato Ajiman Rollins. He's also the lawyer for Norte, who also lost now to Philip Addison. All right.
Yes. So when the case was called, we were told that Gary Nimakun had written to the court saying that some people had threatened his life. According to the letter to the court, he's been chased by, or he's been followed closely by unknown persons who follow him from his office to his house, and he thought he wasn't safe. So he went to report the issue to the police. The police is handling the matter, but would want to take caution. So he didn't appear in court. He wrote to the court saying that he needed some time to sort out those security issues relating to his life. Okay,
I see. So, still in the constituency and to the politics now. So, Dr. Zanato Ajiman Rollins is supposed to open her defense. She hasn't done that yet, we believe.
Exactly. She hasn't done that yet.
All right, but Myanmar Shite is still pushing and hoping that because the Electoral Commission has said now that she doesn't have a voter's or she's not voted, she's not a registered Ghanaian voter, she should be disqualified from contesting. What is the NDC's response to that? The
NDC hasn't filed an appearance in the case. We're expecting the NDC to file an appearance during the last sitting, but because of the turn of events, we didn't hear anything.
But they have said in the media that there's nothing wrong if a candidate is not registered voter because they'll be registering anyway.
Yes, I've spoken to some executives of the party, and they tell me that there's nothing wrong. According to them, there's actually a convention, a silent convention, and it happens. This is not new to the NDC.
Okay. What about the information we are getting that Norte is going to go independent? How concrete is this, and what would that mean to the MPP's chances of getting to be occupying this constituency?
So, Sandra, let's start from this place at this end. Norte has decided to go independent because he lost the rerun of the election to Philip Addison, lawyer Philip Addison. And you know, before that, Norte was the elected parliamentary nominee for the NPP till the rerun of that election. He lost with about 20 votes, and he says that he's going independent. He's not happy with the results, and he's declared to go independent. That could affect the NPP in a way because Ninoy would take some votes from the party. Already, there's a belief that Philip Addison is not really popular on the ground in the constituency. So with Ninoy going independent, it's going to affect the NPP badly if nothing happens between the Zanato and Myanmar Shite case.
So the Korley constituency of the Greater Accra region is always dramatic, as you would expect, from both the NDC and the NPP. Fred Jabano, thank you very much for your time. We'll be keeping an eye on that constituency and see what the outcome is going to be. Is Niyama Shete going to secure an opportunity to go back to the delegates again with an intent that they will vote for him rather than Dr. Zaneto Ajiman-Rawlings? What happens to Ni Noi Norte? Will he go independent? We'll keep an eye on that constituency and we'll see what happens. And what does that even mean to who becomes NDC MP or who becomes MPP MP for this particular constituency? Stay tuned. So the President delivered the State of the Nation address to Parliament, and of course, as we expected, there's controversy. Some of the projects that we have been fact-checking here on our eye on the State of the Nation address, we have seen some gaping inconsistencies in there. For instance, the President mentions Hohoe Town roads, but in the text that was released by the Presidency, he actually hasn't mentioned it. The Minister for Roads and Highways tells us projects, the work is undergoing, but when he went there, he seems not to be vindicated. What exactly is the situation and what's happening in Hohoe? Sixtus Don Ulo is a man who's been observing and following the debates. What happened in Hohoe and why is it so interesting to everybody else?
Sanda, it is interesting because we seem to have a disparity between what the President presented to Parliament and what is actually on the ground. You would quite recall we said on this TV that this is something that is going to bring down the president and maybe even cost him the presidency in the next term of elections, because he presented to Parliament a picture of a nice road network in the Hohoe township. However, when we did a follow-up on Citi FM, we realized that that actually wasn't the case. Our regional correspondent, Macintosh, did a report that indicated some inconsistencies between the report he carried out and the President's State of the Nation address presented to Parliament. Again, we had on our big issue show on Citi FM, that's a current affairs show, we had the Minister of Roads and Transport, Inus Afuseni, coming on to vehemently defend the President's position. And he even threw a challenge which prompted Citi FM to do another checkup on the facts.
This time around with him being present?
Yes, with him on the ground. And when we got to the ground, we realized that indeed there was a problem. And so there's this back and forth. I mean, we all have been there. City News have been there. Citi TV have been there. And we have seen that indeed it is not a picture that the President painted to us as he painted in
So there are some inconsistencies there in there?
Serious inconsistencies.
But having found this now in Hohoe, what does that mean? Because we seem to be getting more information coming from other parts of the region where people are questioning or challenging projects that are said to have been constructed in their area.
Yes, that is what is going to question the credibility of the President. In fact, when it comes to the State of the Nation address that he presented, because as President, he's supposed to be on top of the issues. But if we are getting these inconsistencies, then it means that either the people he's relying on, his ministers, his technical men, they are not giving him the right information, or the President is simply trying to paint a picture that is not a picture of Ghana.
Our eye on the State of the Nation address continues here on Citi TV, and we'll be bringing you weekly updates on what we have found out, what our correspondents have been finding out. But thank you so much, Sixtus Donwolo, for your time on Citi TV. And that's how we end this edition of Politicos, which came to you on Citi TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. Catch us next week.